Alright, so this is going to be a spoiler-filled rant video on Jupiter's Legacy. Just to start, I absolutely love this series, but I thought it'd be fun to get my inner thoughts out. So this is going to be more of a rambling video. I'll try to keep it somewhat structured, but admittedly I'm probably going to be bouncing all over the place with things that I liked and disliked, and what we could have got and what we didn't get. So with that out of the way, let's get started. What better place to start than with the finale? Alright, so the finale, again, is probably one of the most cliffhangers of cliffhangers I've ever seen. So we find out in the finale that Walter Sampson, the brother of Sheldon, the Utopian, is the bad guy. Apparently he's been planning this out, we don't know for how long, but he planned everything from the orb that had the stopwatch in it that we assumed was Skyfox, the clone he created. All of this we find out at the very end of the show, to the point where he literally kills his daughter, which, jarring as can be. Introduce her for one episode and then leave the show. Okay, whatever. But that makes me think, okay, clearly he wants to take over because he wants to rule the Union differently than Sheldon's doing. But what was his game plan? That's my genuine question, because we would have got answers to this had there been a season 2. What was his game plan? Like, his whole plan was to make a divide between the Utopian and Paragon, which would shatter Utopian and possibly need a change of leadership. What if it hadn't have gone the way he wanted? That's my question. Brandon happened to unalive the clone Blackstar. What if he didn't do that? What if he didn't, make the hard decision to break the code? Would that have shattered his entire plan? We learned later that clearly Brainwave, I believe is his name, is much stronger than we were led to believe throughout the series. There's a particular moment where he has Blackstar in his cell, and he basically says that, are you struggling right now because I made your brain forget how to breathe? So we know this man is far stronger than he's been letting on. But that's just one of the few things where I'm like, we're never going to know what his big plan was. Is Skyfox still alive? Who knows? And see, this is one of the more interesting parts that I really want answers to, but we're never going to get. That's going to be a running theme in this video. Skyfox, played by Matt Lanter. Love the actor. Love the character in this show. He's being set up as a good friend to Sheldon, and he obviously at some point disagrees and leaves the Union, and we find out he becomes a super villain. Is he alive? Is he dead? Like, what is it? We're not gonna know that because his son is trying to find him. So that makes me think he must be still alive. Did Walt plan that Skyfox wasn't going to be involved? Did he want to include Skyfox? I don't fully understand what his plan at the end of the day was. Honestly, I don't know which one I'd rather want. I don't know if I'd rather Skyfox be dead. I don't know if I'd rather them find him. Because I love Matt Lanter, I kind of wanted to see more of his character. But again, we'll probably never see that. Alright, so this is Chloe Sampson. I touched on this a bit in my review, which I had more to say, but I didn't say as much as I want. What was the point of her character? Now, I genuinely asked this question because I only can assume and play devil's advocate that she was going to have a character arc in Season 2, because she had no character arc in Season 1. She was unlikable from Episode 1 to Episode 8. I genuinely didn't feel sympathy for her for 8 straight episodes. I don't know if that was the intent. I could just be in the minority on that. But, like I said in the review, I get the trauma. I get not wanting to be, in the same, superhero, type, basically. She was raised to continue Utopian's role, basically, in the Union. And I get, you don't want to do it, that's fine. You don't want to be a superhero, that's fine. But what'd she do with it? She becomes a drug addict. She's just frustrated all the time. I don't think it makes sense. I think it's super kind of dumb. But again, I play the devil's advocate because I love the show, that maybe they had plans for her character. We just didn't see it develop. I didn't get a full-on picture, but I do wonder this. I guess I could just go look it up, but out of curiosity, I wonder, Lady Liberty, did she unalive that one villain? Because if she didn't, clearly she got really close. So, I mean, obviously you could see that she was, torn up by it when she went and talked to Sheldon about it. So, I wonder, because that's interesting, because she is one of the few people that's kind of combating the code, saying that it's not needed anymore. Things have changed, the times have changed. Trying to follow the code isn't gonna cut it. Again, I'm a goody two-shoes, so I would have absolutely followed the code. We do know that the Union is a pretty prestigious superhero group, to the point where we learn early in the series that you have to basically send an application and they have to be accepted for you to join the Union. So clearly, it's a job that most superheroes want. You would think you would follow the code if you join the Union, but that's here nor there. Overall, there's a lot of more things that I could rant about, but at the end of the day, I really love this series, and it really hurts to know we'll never see the continuation of the story. One thing I didn't touch on again in the review, I loved the backstory of how they got their abilities. I loved all the 1920s, aesthetic. I loved seeing how they got to the island, how they got their powers. I do think it was a weird decision to show us the island and the powers in like one of the last episodes. That was a little late, but I think it was really cool. I would have wanted to see, how Sheldon explored the concept that maybe the code doesn't work anymore, or was he going to reaffirm that the code is necessary in a time like this? Now, we don't get full explanation of what the code is. One of the only things we do know is that unaliving was probably one of the most important things not to do, because I love what Brandon says in the show, where he's like, the code wasn't implemented to make our lives easier. It's supposed to be more difficult, because we are supposed to be better than the average person. We're supposed to try to be better. I think it's a great point. I think the code could still work, but again, that's one of the most interesting parts that we won't get explored. That the fate of Skyfox, I would have just liked to have known if he was alive. Seeing what Walt's evil master plan was going to be, that would have been interesting. Overall, so many questions unanswered. I understand that the comic probably answered some, but it's not the same because they made changes, and it's going to bum me that we don't know. But let me know, what did you think of Jupiter's Legacy, and what did you have? Do you have any idea or any answers? At this point, we're just making it up as we go on what it could have been. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from everybody.